So this is a video prior to me taking a shower here. February 28th, 2020 at 8:09 a.m. And it's kind of slowing down here. So one thing to notice, because I don't know if the Mobizen picked up, as I touched on the screen, if it doesn't work right away with the GUI, that's because you haven't registered certain metrics yet. And so applications don't work for me until they're able to falsely register me with something. I don't get coffee in line until certain metrics are hit. Traffic revolves around me. If there's a certain look-alike or if there's a certain vehicle that needs to drive by me, every single especially in Toronto, it'll be noticeable in Toronto. With metadata, people were late, people were fired, people never met their soulmates because of this game they play with me. Where in order to see like say my old Mercedes, uh, a Pontiac, a Montana van, a Toyota Corolla, the Dodge Durango, any to see these vehicles, and what is the other one? An Envoy, based on any con they want. Oh, Jeeps, depending on the year and the con. But back to the video here. See how small that vein is. I have to take a shower. And, I'm gonna film it once I get out of the shower. It's typically after the shower. My vein is just popping right out as my body rejuvenates. And it's crazy. We live in a crazy world where science is considerably more advanced. So that's soap. Science is more advanced than what people realize. Officially that vein, if I went to the doctors right now, they're going to be like, okay, well, uh, they'll have no clue what's wrong, right? Or they'll say they won't, but it never fluctuates in size. They have to agree with that. But once it's all said and done, I'm going to reveal more about the human brain than what neurology officially knows easily. Two things. It can do many things actually. So, skin softening to open wounds. It can encapsulate semen right where the masturbate. It can be collected there as well. Shampoo. It's a crazy world. But I'm not going to. I'll film my vein. Watch the difference. And a lot of things at Dollarama are rigged to not work. Here we go. Here's the follow up. So this was February 28th, 2020 at 8:15. So I took this 8-minute shower or whatever it was. And but Dollarama, like the lighters, the cheap lighters, they're 33 cents. They're rigged. What rich people do is they're able to hack it. So when somebody wants a cigarette or somebody wants to smoke a marijuana cigarette, they want to smoke it, right? So they make it seem like they're really desperate, like the lighter's breaking many times, and if they have an open flame for like 6 seconds, it registers them in this con. And really, these rich people, they're parasites, and if people knew how desperate these individuals are, like they're the biggest hypocrites on the planet. Anyways, here's the you can see my vein already expanded. 2020 here, and you can see the considerable difference. And, once again, that controls all the veins in my extremities. So my hands, well, my heart does, right? There's part of my brain that controls that my hands, my heart, and my male anatomy. So, so since that right there, that's the tar and that's from smoking. My body is the only body that could get rid of that much tar. Look at the tar that I could spit out. That means I should never age unless I'm being poisoned. Out of my lungs, smoking has zero effect on my body. Because I'm able to clear the tar out, and my body produces oxygen much faster than carbon monoxide without any additional poisons. And I have to say that because a few months ago I said, okay, well, Well, I'll tell you right here in this video. I mentioned it.
Person, carbon monoxide replicates in their blood 16 times faster than oxygen. But for me and my children with evolutionary DNA, we have two of them, which tests can prove, produce.
I have to disclaim that because people like Meghan Markle, they try to get me to protect her son Archie, and Kelly Smith is a girl I dated with. She has a brother named Jason, and her mom's name was Kathy Trevison. She named her son Chase, and he's half black. Uh, After my son to be able to leech off my son. It's insane what people do.
Oxygen faster than carbon monoxide because God chose us. It's necessary for mankind's survival. So covertly, what I'm trying to do is make it so anyone who's ever electronically smokes, make it so carbon monoxide reproduces 28 times faster than oxygen. And this is to gauge them and to make them succumb because they're human parasites and they should have died.
Okay, so yeah, that's about it. Let's see what else I could. So I might as well just pull up the news because, granted, the news is gonna kind of always reflects my day, kind of what they want me to do. And once again, that time didn't update, and that's how they try to hide metadata and everything. But it can no longer because wait a second, I'll just pull that out. I didn't want to see that, so I'm gonna go real here, real quick. I'm gonna try it again because I should have been able to hit that tab browser. I guess I'll just close it out completely to avoid that. I'll do this by going down to application manager and stopping it. I have to constantly come up with ways to circumvent, uh, this all any type of mitigation for me. I have to circumvent it. So like I see any problems, I have to understand cache. I'll delete the cookies. I'll do a force stop. So now it shouldn't load the YouPorn proof page because I am a single man, so that is an outlet for me. But it is mainly been used as proof because well, once again that shouldn't because the YouPorn the videos don't even load because it's easier to hide subliminal pornography behind still images so that other websites seem to load for me even though I can play videos everywhere else. It's restricted, and I have phones where I can't even install Tinder on my phone to meet women. It's how the government kind of blocks me, even though there's a lot of women that do want me. Like, that's why else would in my previous video, my former sister-in-law, the deputy prime minister, my sister-in-law, even my niece. It's insane how I get blocked when I'm highly coveted. Like it's nuts. Let's see. Okay, I thought that was semen there. That almost looks like it. And like I just mentioned Meghan Markle and her son Archie. And let's see here. Headlines. World prepares for pandemic with so understanding I do got some time, 5 minutes here. So understanding in 2017, I figured out about evolutionary DNA, and by solving a cipher. And at that point, even though it was late in the year, I got stung by a mosquito, and I wasn't aware of my capabilities that I could control my mind, like my body with my mind, how I can now. And like I can't even remotely come close to getting sick without, people almost trying to pump my stomach to make me puke and what have you. But So, anyways, I got stung by a mosquito, but it took enough blood, and it was turned into the coronavirus, I believe. And so I'm trying to covertly use it just on people who've ever seen my thoughts, who have ever viewed them, minus my kids, because they use my kids as an excuse to save their life. And they can no longer leech off my kids whatsoever. But because this is a man-made virus, not the coronavirus here. So let's see. Oh, now there's a Knox right there. Man, no X. So that's what the system would be. And Donald Trump seen him on YouPorn. Man, the guy is and that was after having seen when I closed my eyes, I seen subliminal images where it appeared to be Donald Trump receiving something from Elena from behind, an appendage. And this is, but they can't do it to my kids anyways. And my kids are too young, and with Duncan McTaggart, and even I wouldn't want it to happen to my kids, but the three of us saying the exact same story with evolutionary DNA, evolution only goes upwards. Evolution mitigates any cognitive defects, any disease. Evolution, it increased my strength, my speed, my agility. Incredible. Like so much that leagues leech off me and my kids. And meanwhile, at the same time, they could get the same effects by leeching off of plant life. But they don't, the American government doesn't want super people to be Canadian for some reason. And that's their mistake. That's their downfall because me and my kids are super people. So I'm not going to have any direct descendants that are American. They're going to have to get it indirectly through future kids of mine. And Marooned, he is on no man's land, Justin Trudeau, because I'm going to be able to show that he rigged the election due to anti-Italian sentiment I had in Sault Ste. Marie, because these people in this town, all they do is they were supposed to evaluate me. Like I understand, I gotta sum this up real fast, but they were gonna evaluate me for 20 years because I, have an evolutionary DNA, right? So they were spying on me against my will, so I am gonna be compensated for that. But I do understand that scientists and governments would want to evaluate somebody, the very first guy with evolutionary DNA, and not my daughter whatsoever, or my son. But I understand that they did want to evaluate them for 20 years. But in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, they failed to document for 14 to almost 15 years. And this is to hide the crime. Even though once this is all said and done, because I was integral to creating basically all technology. If you look at from 1980 onwards, the amount, like the stratospheric, I almost sound like my nephew Bryson there because he can't really speak that well. Change in technology from 1980 onwards, and I'm gonna be able to prove this all in court with the EEG and basically crush people based on it. So, anyways, I would have been a trillionaire by 11 years old. They told me, and what they did is they made me work minimum wage for a very long time. They treat me like crap and my kids like crap. So it's not in Canada's best interest to violate my children because they've already burned a bridge with me, nor America's interest. They need to start repairing the relationship with my kids because I control artificial intelligence. Like when I say I'm the head of state, artificial intelligence restricts people from having access to these programs as if I can't say stratospheric. And if you hear my voice at that moment, I almost sounded juvenile, and that's because a kid who couldn't say that word was projected into my brain to interfere and to discredit me. You could hear it all the time, and I'll be able to prove it all scientifically very soon.